Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to stand before you today, and I'm here to share something that is close to my heart. The challenge of breaking bad habits before they break you. We all have habits, some good, some bad, but it's the bad ones that hold us back from living the life we deserve. So let's dive in and look at 5 powerful ways to break those bad habits before they end up sabotaging your dreams, your goals, and your potential. The first step to breaking any bad habit is acknowledging it. It's like fixing a broken machine. You don't just pretend it's working, you identify what's wrong. Understand the negative habits that are holding you back, whether it's procrastination, poor health choices, or negative thinking. Be honest with yourself. You can't fix what you don't see. Now, it's not enough to just say, I'm going to stop doing that. You need to replace the bad habit with something good. The human mind has a void, and if you don't fill it with something positive, the old habits will creep back in. Replace that hour of watching TV with reading, or replace junk food with healthy snacks. It's about making better choices consistently. Don't expect to completely change overnight. Major transformations happen with small, consistent steps. If you want to wake up earlier, don't suddenly set your alarm an hour earlier. Start with 15 minutes, then 30, and slowly build up. Tiny improvements add up over time, and before you know it, you'll have transformed your habits and your life. Instead of just saying, I want to be healthier, set a clear and actionable goal. I'm going to walk 30 minutes a day, or I'm going to eat a vegetable with every meal. A vague goal will leave you wandering. A clear goal directs your energy and gives you purpose. It's the difference between drifting and sailing towards success. Success doesn't come from occasional effort, it comes from routine. Habits are built when you make something a part of your daily life, whether it's working out, reading, or learning. Make it a regular part of your day. When you establish a routine, your bad habits start losing their grip. You must control your environment. If you want to quit smoking, stop hanging out in places where people smoke. If you want to eat healthier, stop buying junk food. Your environment plays a crucial role in reinforcing your habits. Make your surroundings conducive to success. We often fail because we keep our goals and struggles to ourselves. When you share your goals with someone, you create a system of accountability. When you tell someone you're going to wake up at 6 a.m. every day, you don't want to let them down. It's a powerful motivator. Don't let them define you. You'll stumble. You'll have days when you fall back into old patterns. But here's the key. Don't let it define you. Learn from your setbacks. What triggered the bad habit? What could you have done differently? Reflect, adjust, and keep moving forward. Habits are formed through repetition. One great day doesn't break a bad habit, but consistent effort does. Keep showing up, even on the days you don't feel like it. The key to success in breaking bad habits is being consistent, even when the results aren't immediate. Understand that breaking bad habits takes time. It's a marathon, not a sprint. But every time you choose discipline over temptation, you're creating a new future for yourself. Trust the process, stay patient, and give yourself the grace to grow. If you're going to break a bad habit, the first and most important step is to recognize that it exists. Far too many people walk around in denial, pretending that their bad habits aren't affecting their lives. The truth is, you cannot change something you refuse to acknowledge. Bad habits don't always announce themselves with flashing lights and sirens. They sneak in little by little until one day you realize they've taken control. It might be that extra hour of sleep you think you need, or the small unhealthy snack you allow yourself every day, or the moment you decide to procrastinate yet again. These small choices may seem harmless, but over time they compound into something far more damaging. The key is to confront these habits head on, without sugarcoating them or minimizing their impact. Take a moment to pause and evaluate your life. Look at the areas where you feel stuck, where you're not progressing the way you'd like. Those areas of stagnation, chances are they're being held in place by your habits. The real question is, can you see it clearly? Are you willing to admit that a habit is at the root of the problem? Or will you keep making excuses? The truth about habits is that they don't just affect your present, they shape your future. If you can't recognize the habits that are holding you back, you're simply setting yourself up for more of the same in the days ahead. And here's the thing, bad habits don't wait for the perfect moment to take hold. They grow quietly in the background, and the longer you ignore them, the harder they become to break. It's time to face the truth. Take an honest look at your life. What is working and what isn't? Where are you falling short? That's where the real change begins. Once you see your habits for what they are, Once you acknowledge them in their purest form, you can begin to make the necessary decisions to turn things around. This is not about being hard on yourself. This is about clarity. Understanding where you are right now is the only way to chart a course toward where you want to go. So get clear. Don't let your bad habits keep you in the shadows. Recognize them, because until you do, you'll never have the power to overcome them. When you decide to break a bad habit, the next step isn't just about stopping that habit. It's about replacing it. You can't simply create a void and expect that things will automatically improve. Nature abhors a vacuum, and your mind will look for something to fill that empty space. So, if you want to truly transform your life, it's not enough to just stop doing something bad. You've got to replace it with something better, something that moves you forward rather than holding you back. Let's be real about this. Breaking a bad habit is not easy. It's like trying to quit smoking cold turkey or cutting out sugar from your diet. If you don't replace those behaviors with something healthier, they'll find a way to creep back in. Instead of sitting around waiting for willpower to magically solve your problems, take action and introduce new, positive habits that will help you grow. So if you're trying to break the habit of overeating, replace it with healthier choices. Reach for fruits or vegetables, or try drinking a glass of water instead of snacking out of habit. If you're trying to break the habit of wasting time on social media, replace that time with something productive. Read, learn, or invest in yourself through courses or skill development. It's about shifting your focus to something that uplifts you rather than drags you down. But here's where most people go wrong. They believe they can simply eliminate bad habits without having a plan for what comes next. And the truth is, once you stop a habit, there's a very real sense of emptiness. Without filling that void, you'll only find yourself falling back into the very habit you tried to break. So instead of just saying, I'm going to stop this, be proactive and say, I'm going to replace this with that. The more specific you get with your replacements, the stronger your new habits will be. Let's take it a step further. Think about the impact a good habit can have. Not only will it push you toward better results, but it will build momentum. Let's say you replace your bad habit of procrastination with a habit of planning your day the night before. Now you've replaced uncertainty with clarity. You've created a blueprint for your day, making it easier to tackle the challenges that come your way. Little by little, you'll start to notice that these good habits begin to compound. The more you replace bad habits with good ones, the more your life transforms. It's all about consistency. One good habit might not feel like much today, but over time, the change is powerful. Imagine if every time you wanted to reach for that unhealthy snack, you instead reached for a piece of fruit or a healthy alternative. One action may not change everything overnight, but consistency creates massive results. Soon, you won't even recognize the person you were before. You'll have replaced the old habits that held you back with new ones that are pushing you forward. Remember, you don't have to rely on willpower alone. It's about designing your life so that positive actions replace negative ones. Every time you consciously choose to replace a bad habit with a good one, you're creating the life you've always wanted. And over time, those positive habits will become second nature. You'll look back and realize that you didn't just break your bad habits. You created a new version of yourself that's stronger, wiser, and more capable than ever before. If you want to create lasting change in your life, don't expect it to happen all at once. Too often, we want to make sweeping, dramatic changes right out of the gate. We look at the big picture, set enormous goals, and think we can just flip a switch and make everything perfect. But here's the truth. Real, lasting transformation comes from small, incremental changes. It's the small decisions made consistently over time that compound into big results. Think about it like this. If you wanted to lose weight, you wouldn't try to drop 30 pounds in a week. Instead, you'd focus on losing 1 or 2 pounds every week, consistently. At first, that might not seem like much, but over time, those small victories stack up, and before you know it, you've reached your goal. It's the same with any habit. Don't focus on the massive overhaul. Focus on making a little improvement every single day. Let me tell you a little secret. It's the small wins that build momentum. Imagine trying to climb a mountain. You're not going to leap from the bottom to the top in one giant step. Instead, you take one step after another, and gradually those steps add up. The same applies to breaking a bad habit or building a new one. It's the day-to-day decisions, the small efforts that move you closer to the top of your mountain. Most people want instant results. But the key to success is being patient with yourself. It's about making gradual, sustainable changes that you can maintain over time. So start with something small. If you're trying to develop a reading habit, don't commit to reading an hour a day right off the bat. Start with 10 or 15 minutes a day. That's all it takes. Eventually, you'll build the discipline, and before long, reading will become second nature. This approach is powerful because small changes don't feel overwhelming. When you try to tackle everything at once, it's easy to get discouraged, and that's when most people give up. But when you focus on small, manageable improvements, you're setting yourself up for success. These tiny steps are what create big, lasting habits. They also keep you from burning out. The small wins give you the energy and confidence to keep going. Remember, success isn't about making one giant leap. It's about taking one small step after another. Over time, these steps add up to massive progress. So when you set out to break a bad habit or build a new one, don't try to change everything at once. Just focus on one thing you can improve today and then keep doing that every day. You'll be amazed at what you can accomplish with consistent, small efforts. That's the secret to success. One of the most powerful tools you have for breaking bad habits and creating new, positive ones is the ability to set clear, specific goals. Without clear goals, you're simply wandering aimlessly. It's like trying to reach a destination without a map. You may be busy, but you're not making any progress. The difference between success and failure often comes down to clarity. When you know exactly where you're going, your actions become intentional, and that focus moves you forward. You see, goals are more than just something you write down or think about. They're the roadmap that guides you. If your goal is vague, like saying, I want to be healthier, you'll find it difficult to take meaningful action. What does healthier even mean? How do you measure it? And more importantly, how do you know when you've achieved it? Without specifics, you'll be left feeling confused and lost. Instead, break your goals down into clear, actionable steps. For example, instead of saying, I want to be healthier, a clear and specific goal would be, I will walk 30 minutes every day. It's actionable, measurable, and achievable. There's no confusion, no guessing. And because it's specific, it becomes easier to track your progress. This kind of clarity brings certainty and purpose to everything you do. The power of clear goals lies in their ability to focus your energy. If you're trying to lose weight, don't just say, I want to lose weight. Instead, say, I want to lose 5 pounds in the next month by exercising 3 times a week and eating a balanced diet. Now you have a clear direction. You know exactly what you need to do to make it happen. And with that clarity, you'll make decisions with intention, and your actions will reflect your commitment. Don't just set any goals. Set goals that challenge you, that stretch you, but are still within reach. Goals that are too easy won't motivate you to push yourself. And goals that are too far out of reach will only leave you frustrated. A good goal pushes you outside your comfort zone, but remains realistic enough to achieve with consistent effort. It's also important to make sure your goals are measurable. This means you can track your progress along the way. If your goal is to read more, instead of saying, I want to read more books, commit to reading 1 book per month. It's specific, it's measurable, and you'll know exactly when you've succeeded. The act of measuring your progress not only keeps you on track, but it also builds momentum. When you hit your first milestone, it motivates you to keep going, to keep achieving. And let's not forget about time. Set deadlines for your goals. A goal without a deadline is just a wish. Deadlines create urgency. They make sure you take your goal seriously and put in the necessary work. Without a time frame, there's no sense of priority. But with a deadline, you know exactly when you need to take action. It forces you to be disciplined and proactive. In the end, the most important thing is to be intentional. When you set clear, specific goals, you give yourself direction. You transform your dreams into a plan of action. And as you take those small steps every day toward your specific goals, you'll begin to notice the changes. You'll see yourself moving from where you are to where you want to be. And that's when you know you're on the right track. Set your goals clearly, focus on them relentlessly, and the results will come. If you want to make real progress, build lasting habits, and break free from those things holding you back, there's one essential ingredient you can't overlook: routine. Success, growth, and change don't happen randomly. They happen through the discipline of a well-established routine. Think of routine as the framework of your life, the foundation that keeps everything in place and on track. Without it, you're just reacting to life instead of living intentionally. The beauty of a routine is that it takes the guesswork out of your day. When you wake up, you don't have to wonder what you should do next. You don't have to decide whether or not you'll work out, whether you'll eat healthy, or whether you'll work on your personal development. All of that is already decided for you. A routine doesn't just save you time, it saves you energy. By planning your day in advance, you eliminate the need for constant decision-making. This frees up your mental energy to focus on things that truly matter, like executing your goals and enjoying your life. A routine doesn't mean rigidly sticking to a set of actions without flexibility. No, it means making sure that every day you're dedicating time to the things that move you closer to your goals. It's about consistency, not perfection. For example, you might not always be able to get a full hour of exercise, but you can always do something, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it takes. The key is showing up consistently, and over time, those small daily actions compound into something significant. You see, success isn't about what you do once in a while, it's about what you do every day. Those small, seemingly insignificant actions you take each day are what build the foundation for massive success. It's the early mornings when you rise to read, exercise, or plan your day, even when you don't feel like it. It's those little choices to say no to distractions and yes to productivity that create lasting results. Every decision, every action leads you closer to becoming the person you want to be. But the power of routine isn't just about what you do in the morning. It's about consistency throughout your entire day. Your routine should support the habits that align with your goals. If your goal is to build a business, make sure you schedule time every day to work on it, even if it's just for a small block of time. If your goal is to improve your health, block out time for exercise and meal prep. What you do in the morning sets the tone for the rest of the day, but it's the consistency throughout the entire day that builds your momentum. When you establish a routine, you take control of your life. You stop being a victim of random events or external circumstances. Instead, you create a structure that works for you. And here's the thing, routines don't just help you build success, they create stability. When you're consistent, you develop habits that keep you grounded even when life throws you curveballs. Your routine is like the anchor that keeps you steady, no matter what the day brings. The power of routine also lies in its ability to eliminate decision fatigue. When everything has a place and a time, you don't waste energy wondering what to do next or second-guessing yourself. You simply follow the plan, knowing that each step is taking you closer to your goals. It's about making success inevitable by building it into your daily life. In the end, success is not an event, it's a process, a series of consistent actions that lead to extraordinary results. Establish a routine that aligns with the person you want to become, and soon enough, you'll be amazed at how much progress you've made. The days will turn into weeks, the weeks into months, and the months into lasting change. When you make routine a part of your life, you're no longer hoping for success, you're creating it. One small, deliberate step at a time. If you want to change your life, it's crucial to understand one of the most powerful forces that shape your success, and that force is your environment. The environment you surround yourself with can either propel you forward or hold you back. You see, human beings are not isolated creatures. We are deeply influenced by the people, places, and things around us. And if you're not careful, your environment can shape your habits, your mindset, and ultimately, your future. Think about it. When you're surrounded by negativity, by people who aren't going anywhere, or by clutter and chaos, it's easy to feel stuck. That's the power of a negative environment. It wears you down. It encourages procrastination, complacency, and bad habits. You might not even realize it, but the environment you're in is feeding those bad habits every single day. It's like trying to grow a plant in poor soil. No matter how much you water it, if the soil is bad, it's going to struggle to thrive. But here's the good news. If your environment has the power to limit you, it also has the power to elevate you. You can design an environment that supports your growth, that fosters your success, and that encourages you to do the work necessary to break those bad habits. This is the secret. You don't have to rely solely on willpower to make changes. You can stack the deck in your favor by carefully choosing the environment that surrounds you. Let's start with the people you spend your time with. We are all products of the people we associate with. If you're constantly surrounded by people who complain, make excuses, or live in a state of mediocrity, it will be difficult for you to rise above that. The energy of the people around you has a huge impact on your mindset. On the other hand, when you surround yourself with people who are ambitious, who are constantly learning and growing, that energy will rub off on you. Their mindset becomes your mindset. Their habits become your habits. Success is contagious, and so is failure. Choose carefully who you spend your time with. Next, think about your physical environment. The space you live and work in plays a critical role in your ability to focus and be productive. If your desk is cluttered, if your room is disorganized, if the space around you is chaotic, your mind will be chaotic. But when you create an environment that is clean, organized, and conducive to focus, it's like giving your mind the space it needs to operate at its best. When you enter a space that is well maintained and purposeful, it triggers a sense of order and discipline in your mind. It's much easier to concentrate on your goals when your environment is aligned with your intentions. Also, think about the tools you use. Your environment isn't just about the people or the physical space, it's about the resources available to you. If you're trying to learn something new, are you surrounded by books, courses, and information that help you grow, or are you drowning in distractions? If you want to be more productive, do you have the tools and systems that support that, or do you find yourself constantly derailed by things that waste your time? And then there's the digital environment. What are you consuming online? What kind of media are you exposing yourself to every day? Social media, the news, and entertainment can all have a profound impact on your mindset. If you're constantly consuming negativity, you'll find it harder to stay motivated and focused on your goals. But if you make a habit of filling your mind with positive, empowering content, whether it's inspiring podcasts, motivational books, or educational material, it becomes easier to stay aligned with your vision for your life. Now you might be thinking, I can't change my entire environment overnight, and you're right, change takes time, but here's the key. You don't have to do everything at once. Start small. Change one thing at a time. Perhaps you start by decluttering your space or by choosing to spend more time with people who inspire you. You begin to build momentum, and soon you'll realize how much more productive, focused, and motivated you feel simply because you've reshaped the environment around you. When you begin to harness the power of your environment, you'll start noticing something remarkable. Your bad habits start to fade, not because you've willed them away, but because your environment no longer supports them. You've created a space that encourages the habits you want to build. You've made it easier to succeed and harder to fail. In the end, success is about more than just willpower. It's about making the right choices, setting up the right systems, and surrounding yourself with the right people and resources. When you take control of your environment, you take control of your future. Your environment doesn't just shape your actions, it shapes your life. So make it work for you. If you're serious about breaking bad habits and creating new, positive ones, you must understand one of the most powerful ingredients for success: accountability. It's easy to let yourself slide, to make excuses, to justify why you didn't do something. But here's the truth. Without accountability, you have no real pressure to follow through. You'll always find ways to rationalize your lack of progress. But when someone or something holds you accountable, you are much more likely to stay on track and push through when the going gets tough. Think about this. When you're accountable to someone else, it changes everything. If you tell someone you're going to do something, the pressure to follow through becomes real. You no longer have the luxury of backing out without consequences. Accountability creates a sense of responsibility and urgency, and that pressure is a gift. It drives you to take action, even on those days when motivation is low. But here's the catch. Accountability isn't just about checking in with someone else. It starts with being accountable to yourself. You have to be brutally honest about where you are and where you want to go. If you say you're going to wake up at 5 a.m. to work out, don't allow yourself to hit the snooze button just because no one is watching. Integrity with yourself is the foundation of all accountability. When you build a habit of honoring your own commitments, you set the tone for everything else in your life. Now let's talk about the power of an external accountability partner. When you have someone to answer to, your commitment to your goals becomes stronger. This doesn't mean just telling anyone about your goals, but finding someone who will hold you to them, someone who will check in with you, encourage you, and challenge you when necessary. A good accountability partner doesn't let you off the hook. They help you stay focused and remind you of your bigger picture when you start to lose sight of it. But accountability isn't just about having someone to check in with you. It's also about tracking your progress. Set clear benchmarks and milestones and make sure you're measuring your progress regularly. Whether it's through journaling, a habit tracker, or progress reports to your accountability partner, the act of tracking keeps you conscious of where you stand. When you can look back and see how far you've come, it fuels your motivation to keep going. Without tracking, you have no way of knowing whether you're improving or slipping backward. A good accountability system also provides consequences. If you don't hit a goal, there should be something at stake. Maybe it's a financial penalty, or perhaps you'll have to publicly share your failure with a group. Whatever it is, make sure the consequences are significant enough to motivate you to take action. Accountability without consequences is like trying to push a car without gas. It won't get you anywhere. It's the reason we all perform better when there's something on the line. But don't just rely on others to hold you accountable. Take the time to set up a system of accountability within yourself. Ask yourself the hard questions. Did I give my best today? Did I stay true to my commitments? Did I move the needle forward on my goals? When you answer these questions honestly, you'll know whether you're doing the work or letting distractions pull you off course. One of the most powerful forms of accountability is public accountability. When you tell the world, or even just a group of trusted friends, about your goals, there's a sense of pride and urgency to follow through. The idea that others are watching, or that you've publicly committed, creates a sense of pressure that pushes you to take action. There's nothing more motivating than the thought of having to answer to others if you don't follow through on what you said you'd do. But always remember, accountability isn't about beating yourself up when you fall short. It's about learning, adjusting, and committing to do better the next day. When you have someone holding you accountable, you're less likely to let those small failures derail you. Instead, you're able to reset, refocus, and keep moving forward. Ultimately, accountability is a reminder that you're not alone in your journey. Whether it's a partner, a group, or a system you've set up for yourself, it's the constant nudge to stay committed to your goals. The more accountable you are, the more you take responsibility for your actions, and the more likely you are to achieve the success you desire. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. Stay accountable, and you'll stay on the path to a better, more fulfilling life.